Hello, Shrewdness fans. Welcome to the latest podcast. We're talking about Royals baseball in October. And we're going to talk a little bit of Chiefs.
Woo!
Oh, the nice Bo Jackson jersey. Sweet. It's been a heck of a season here in Kansas City
Woo!
for the Royals and for the Chiefs so far. A lot of talk this week about the latest news in our beloved Royals and our beloved Chiefs seasons.
Kansas City, or as we refer to it, Wintersville.
Wintersville is a great place to be. All right, we're going to start with some Royals news. Big playoff game today. Chiz, tell us about it.
I will say this. This is the first time, I think, in our existence, so we're all late 40s. We won't reveal how late. We have had two winning clubs in the same season. So if you look at the Royals' good years, there haven't been many. But if you look at the Royals, there's four. You know, they never coincide with Chiefs' good years. And right now we have a Royals playoff team and a Chiefs undefeated team coming off of two Super Bowls. This is the best time to be a Kansas City fan in our lifetime, actually.
Absolutely.
Facts. And the thing is, once we know what the Royals do in the playoffs,
just win, baby.
They go to at least Game 7 of the World Series.
That's right.
So
That's all we do,
baby. And unless Madison Bumgarner pitches 18 games again in 7-game series, we should be all right.
We got a chance. We got a chance.
Well,
that's what we
so
wanted
start
all
us
year.
off. Game 1.
So jumping in, I got to say, if this game didn't epitomize the Royals this year in a nutshell,
Yeah.
like we all said, and if you listen to the Shrewdcasts, which you should, we all said that if we got in the playoffs, our starting rotation gave us a shot.
Yeah.
Now, the bats have always been the question. The bats have always been a question mark, and they were a question mark again today. But
you can't win with 0, but you can win with 1.
You can win with 1.
0.
Right?
So,
you can win with 1.
So 1-0 behind a strong game from Cole Reagans today with 6 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 8 Ks. And that's what we talked about. And then we've been hitting this again. If you've been following us, we've been talking about the Royals bullpen has turned a corner. It used to be something like, oh my God, what are we doing? I don't even want to see who comes in next. To like, I like where we are. And the thing, Urseg, we've hit this the last weeks and weeks. We've hit how good he is. He came in with that key third out in the 8th because Bubic just couldn't quite get him. Even though it looked like strike 3 to me, they call that thing a strike all day.
I know,
so
man.
I took ball 4, Gunnar Henderson, but whatever. And then, he closed the door on 1-2-3, throwing 100, hitting 100 a few times in the 9th inning. And it was all good, baby. So Lucas Ursig came in, closed the door. Bubic, I thought he still pitched pretty well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with how he pitched at all. And but for not getting a call, it would have been 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So really good. But what takeaways do you have? I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. obviously had the 1 RBI because who else would? And it was nice seeing Pasquatch back in the lineup, even though he didn't have a great game.
It's all right. Just his presence.
Just
his presence is a big deal in that lineup and allows us to do some things. I think if nothing else, it gives confidence to the rest of the guys. I got 2 key moments, but before I do those, I wanted Pruitt's take on the game.
Well, like you mentioned, in true Royals fashion, they only scored 1, and it was a manufactured run. A walk, a stolen base, a ground out to the right side, and then a single. Right, so the most boring run you can pretty much get. But
classic 90s baseball, though.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's a throwback to the early 90s baseball.
And it still works. It's also circa 2014-15 Royals. It's just a pinch run. What's his name? Oh my God!
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
There was no Dyson pinch run.
Yeah, Dyson. Yeah, that's it.
Gerard Dyson.
But there, and I kind of expected there to be a pinch run at some point. But I will say this: that was one of the moments that there's 2 key moments in this game. That was the first one, and that epitomized the Royals, because if you followed the Royals, you know we're never going to have the 50 home run guy. We can't afford the 50 home run guy.
Except
so
for
we got to be
solar power.
Except for 1 year we had solar power. And for the most part, this is how the Royals got to win games. They got to be smart. They got to get timely hitting. And exactly what Pruitt said. The first thing was, we get a walk, a stolen base, a hit to the productive out, and then a single. And honestly, baseball still could be won that way. You don't have to have guys that hit out of the park, and that's how Major League Baseball has shifted for the most part in the last 10 years is to the home run hitter. But if you have smart players –
postseason, man, these are how you win games.
That's right. So that was one key play. The second key play that I wanted to call out was Cole Reagan's. So I believe it was runners on second and third with one out. And I think it was the 6th inning, maybe. You guys will check me on that. 6th or 5th,
Yep.
5th or 6th inning. And he struck out 2 batters. Like, that is to keep it at zeros. When you got guys on second, third, one out.
Yeah.
You got to get one. You have to make contact and get one. And the Royals do that. They make contact to get one. The Orioles did not. They did not even make contact. And Reagan's, that was a huge step up.
Reagan's is the one guy you'd want in that situation, though, too, right? I mean, or Ursig, obviously the back of our bullpen. But that is the one thing we've talked about is having the pitchers pitch to contact. Sounds great. You can go deep in games. But when you need a K, when you need them to not touch the ball, no sac flies, no ground ball getting them in.
That's right.
When you need the K, Cole Reagans can bring it, baby. And that's what's awesome about having. I mean, he's not, I don't know. He's a true ace. I'd say he's a true ace. Pruitt, back me up, true ace. Cole Reagans.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of a poor man's ace, but he's an ace nonetheless. And
he's our ace.
I loved having him. I'm glad we didn't have to use him on Sunday. Because we were talking about that. Like, if we needed it, we were going to have to throw him Sunday, and that was going to suck because we wouldn't have him today. Right. But we got that. We clinched early. We didn't have to worry about it. And so we got Cole Reagans today. We get Cy Lugo tomorrow. And
man, it would be nice to close it out tomorrow and not have to go to the third game.
It would be fantastic. And the thing is, we beat the Orioles number 1, right? So Corbin Burns, Jiminy Christmas, 8 innings. And he did it in 84 freaking pitches. And but for just a Michael Garcia just reaching out and hitting that off-speed pitch, we knocked him out of the game. He was going to go the distance.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a phenomenal game. And I don't know what else he could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the inning you're talking about, Chiz, with the Orioles bottom of the 5th.
That's what it was.
So ground out to first, double to left center, single to center. So second, third, one out. And he struck out McCann, and then he struck out Gunnar Henderson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's no fluky there, man. Gunnar has had a hell of a season.
Well, if you look, I will be the first to say I wanted the Astros, not the Orioles. Like, I felt like the Astros hadn't played a meaningful game in a long time, and I felt like they would be the sleepier team. Plus, the Orioles just have a ton of talent. I mean, this team is built for the next 5 years. Bunch of guys under 30 that are just killers.
Yep.
And
it's so ironic. In April, we were talking about this team saying, man, wouldn't it nice to have all the talent Baltimore has? And lo and behold, we take one guy with talent and a Pasquatch great season and a Salvi one last good crank on the wheel. And here we are because our pitching came up big. But as far as a deep lineup, good Lord, Baltimore, you're right. They are set to be
stacked
for years.
Something tells me we're going to have to score more than one run tomorrow.
Yeah, about this, though, and your Astros versus Orioles, I wanted the Orioles because they don't have the experience, and they're not there yet. And that's the problem is that the Astros expect to go to the World Series every year.
That's true.
And they've done it. They know it. They've got a roster full of dudes that have done it, been MVPs. They've had they're too freaking deep and good. I don't want to F with them. So I'm super glad Detroit won today. Let's get them out of the way.
Oh, I'll tell you what. So first off, we have to be the most hated city in Baltimore because if you look at what we have done to them,
probably right. Yeah.
That's it.
Like in football, it's been nothing but bad for them against the Chiefs. And then if you look in baseball, we played them in the 2014 AL Championship and swept them 4-0. That's the only other time we played them in the playoffs. And then we win today. So I don't know that they've had a W against a Kansas City team in the postseason in our lifetime.
Knocking on wood for you, Chisholm. I don't need that.
Please,
bad
knock on the
juju
wood.
Karma. Good Lord. I'm gonna knock
I know.
on it again. That was
knock
so
on
stupid.
it. That was
God,
really
Lewis
bad.
is gonna turn this episode off.
He's
God, he just rolled over. I'm not even gonna
He's-
text him what you just did.
He's twitching, and he doesn't know why he's twitching right now.
I'm twitching for him. You made me
Right?
twitch for Lou. God, it's
But-
not good. It's never happened. You never
I mean,
said
facts
such
are
a
friendly.
stupid
Facts are
thing.
friendly, but
I mean, you saw how I did last week with the Chiefs. Good Lord, learn, bro.
that's true.
Like, you've got to respect, even though Easton Stick didn't even play. Justin Herbert played with a broken ankle,
And he still almost beat us.
and he still
But
almost beat us.
we'll
But
get
you
to the
have
Chiefs
to
in a minute.
respect the opponent at all
That's true.
times.
Hey, Baltimore is a solid team,
There
and
you
I
go.
think they
Real
probably win the next two. I mean, if you look at
Well,
if you
we
look at the
don't want
lineups,
That-
they win the next two. But
They should.
that
they should win
bad.
the next two. But I will say, interesting
But
trend.
that's why they play the games.
That's right. And an
That's
interesting
why they
trend
play the
today in the wild card games, 3 of the 4 road teams won.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of pressure
honestly,
to be the home team, man.
it really is, because you're the higher seed. You're sitting there, and it's a tough position because you're the higher seed. But like in a best of 3 series, I mean, anything can happen. And you saw that today. Like, I really thought that when I look at the other 2 series, I'm shocked at the Houston outcome. I know Scooble is incredible, but I didn't think they'd get shut out. Well, they got 1 run, but it's the bottom of the ninth. And then I was shocked at the Mets because they played a doubleheader yesterday
Yeah.
and burned through everyone.
Tons
and
of people.
they won 8-4 today against the Brewers, who were well rested and waiting for them.
Sometimes
Atlanta-
there's something to be said, and you talked about it last week, when you have that break of not having a meaningful game and resting your guys.
Right?
It's exactly what you said last week. Like, sometimes you don't want that. You want to be in the moment, playing
Let's go.
hard, meaningful games. Like, start your playoffs 3 days before the playoffs.
Right?
You're in the right mindset. Because
Once
then you're
you-
there like,
yeah.
can't lose. Don't let up. Keep going. That's why sometimes I don't even like having the first round bye. I mean, I want it,
I know.
obviously. But sometimes you don't, because they come out flat that first half.
And
Football
it's-
and baseball
it's-
the same way.
And I even think it's more in baseball, because in baseball it's so much momentum, and
All
it's
about
less
momentum.
it's
Yeah.
less physical. I mean, it's physical in the pitchers and their arms and your bullpen in particular, but
Yeah.
like with football, the week off, like, guys are hurt. They're
Yeah,
hurting
they're
at that point.
literally recovering.
Right? And it's like, woo, I can get my legs back. In baseball, I'm not seeing a live pitch for a week. So
Yeah.
if you win these wild card seasons, why you see a lot of times the World Series team comes from a wild card, because
The Arizona Diamondbacks last year,
right? Because it's like,
Philadelphia.
I think I don't know what the stats are, but I want to say it's a very, very high percentage of the World Series that has at least one wild card team in, and I think it has to do with they are in win mode and they can't get out of win mode, and they're playing, seeing pitches. You get in grooves. Whoever we
they play
play
every other day or 2 out of 3 days since the All-Star break.
Right.
Yep.
And now you've got
So
all
the-
these teams. The Yankees sitting around on their butts right now.
Yeah.
The Guardians sitting around on their
Butts.
butts right now. So whoever comes out of these these wild card series are legitimate threats to those teams, even though they're not as good from a talent standpoint. So
Yep.
I totally agree. I mean, that was what was surprising. And here's the thing for the Braves series, which I know we're doing Royals and everything, but it's interesting is that Chris Sale was a scratch. He might not even pitch this entire deal. And he's literally the Cy Young favorite for the National League. That is a gut punch to a team that's had nothing but gut punches all
for sure.
year long. I mean, I just can't believe it's again, because they lost Acuna for the season. They lost Ozzy Albies for months. They lost Austin Riley for months. I mean, it's like, and now you lose the day before the freaking playoffs. He's a scratch for your day one.
And don't forget Spencer Strider, who they lost.
Oh, and straight
so,
I mean, yeah.
So
What,
I
one
mean,
game. I mean, it's
what
like,
what that team did, I will say, what that team did to make the playoffs is pretty amazing.
unbelievable. But they got shut out today 4-0 by the Padres. I mean, it just kind of sucks for them.
I think they're completely out of gas. I mean,
I do too.
if you look at yesterday too, I mean, they had that game won in the first game, and they managed
Got
to lose
walked
it.
off.
And the fact that they came back and won the second game is incredible.
Yeah.
They probably shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Honestly,
Arizona probably would have been a better team.
I would rather see Arizona end this year because of, they had a lot more momentum. They were more fun to watch at this point. But, I will give credit where credit's due. And the Braves, to make it this far, I don't think they get out of this first round, but to make it this far is pretty impressive. And what's the do we even know what happened with Sale? What's the
back spasms? Like, he was warming up for game 1 yesterday in that doubleheader, and he got scratched. And like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So then they had to rally through a pile of people just to make it through both games, knowing they had to save some people for today if they made it. They only had to win 1.
Right.
And that's the whole deal. As long as no one got swept, you got to play. So
that's right.
The Mets were kind of in the easier catbird seat after the first game yesterday.
That's right.
Because they didn't have to win.
Pressure is off.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, it's either Arizona or Atlanta. They don't give a fuck. They're in.
Yeah.
So it's just next up on the schedule for those guys.
That's right.
But Atlanta, after blowing it, is like, oh my God. And the fact they came back and I think they won 3-0. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, I think they did. I think it was 3-0, and it does make you wonder if
3-0 same game. Yeah.
If the Mets were like, whew, okay, let's mentally prepare for tomorrow and get past the second game.
Take this game off.
Because you got such a high in that first game to win that way.
The Mets put up a 5-run inning today in the fifth, I think what it was. And the thing is, Milwaukee got up early too, and then immediate answer by the Mets for 3, and then Milwaukee put up 2 again. They're up 4-3, doing pretty well, rolling, and then boom, 5-run next top. I mean, that's immediate answer every single time by the Mets, and that's kind of what they've been doing. I mean,
hey, bring on the Mets. We like playing the Mets.
Yeah, that's right.
That worked out well.
we like the Mets.
Let's go Mets.
We like the Mets. We like the Orioles. We like the Astros. There's no Giants, so that's good. We don't have to play any Giants in this.
Screw those stupid Giants.
We don't have to play the
I don't
Giants.
even want Madison Bumgarner coaching anybody.
I don't either. I don't want him anywhere near the
You don't even get to be in the stadium. You're probably like, I got a couple innings left.
I don't want anything to do with him.
God.
So I've been looking at the prediction. Oh, by the way, some of us had the under in that Mets game today because I was surely they're going to be tanked and it was going to have no, they weren't.
They were till they weren't.
So I will say there is an interesting group of teams here. Take our Royals hats off for a second. When you look at who you see coming through this, I mean, we think the Royals could be magic and they can make a run. But if you let's select the NL teams first. Who do you think is well positioned to come out of that league?
For the National League? I think Philly's tough, and the Dodgers, I mean, they don't need pitching with that lineup. And I don't know what happened to Freddie Freeman. He got hurt the last game of the stupid year. I don't know if he's hurt.
Yeah, I don't either.
If he's playing Mookie, Ohtani, and Freeman as your top 3, to then go with Teoscar Hernandez, who had a phenomenal year. Yeah. And then they always, Will Smith, arguably the best catcher. I mean, come on, man. That's a deep team.
So a lot of people are picking against them because of the staff. And
the pitching's bad.
It's interesting because, you get a team that's that stacked on the offensive side of the ball. It should be you just have to have adequate pitching. But in the playoffs, man, it seems like those staffs really matter.
Flips.
Right?
Yep.
It does. But 98 wins wasn't a fluke. They're a good team. And they have, 3 MVPs are your first 3 hitters. That's fake. That's a fake.
Has that ever happened? And maybe the old Yankees may have had that back in the day, but
that'd probably be it. But 3 MVPs back to back to back. That's your first 3. And they get to come up every third inning, even if you get them out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
First, 4th, 7th, they're going to do something.
You got to face 9 all-star at-bats at a minimum in a game.
And I promise they're going to do something.
Yeah. And now, I do like the Phillies, though. I have to say
that's where I'm at. I think Phillies are probably the top one for me coming out of the NL. The Mets could be a spoiler.
They could be.
I just don't really believe they've got a pitching depth either.
I don't either.
Francisco Lindor can't. They'll just walk them.
Yeah.
They only have one guy do anything. The Polar Bear's been okay.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a 50 homer season. He barely got 30. So it's I don't know. I'm not afraid of the Mets. If I'm in the National League, I think the Phillies definitely aren't afraid of them. I don't know. I think I like Philly. The Dodgers or San Diego is a sneaky one too, though.
They are,
because
they got a lot of talent on that team.
They do. They've got a truckload of talent. Man.
I mean, if there's anybody who could upset the apple cart of the Phillies or the Dodgers, I think it's the Padres.
Yep.
And they're playing really well.
Yep,
yeah, it is.
Because last year it was supposed to be them, and they sucked.
They were horrible.
Year, I mean, 93 wins in your second in your division because you just have to be with the Dodgers.
Right.
But all in all, I mean, you also had to play Arizona had 89 wins and didn't get in.
Whew.
Didn't
That's
get in with
brutal.
That's old school 80s Royals right there.
That is.
The stupid Athletics kept beating us.
That's right.
In the old AL West, obviously.
That's right.
But, yeah, I think that those are the teams I'm looking at. The Yankees, frankly, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just not worried about them.
I know.
If Garrett Cole's as good as he can be, okay, because there's one guy, and he's a league winner, he's a game winner, he's a Cy Young winner, and he's actually been pitching well of late, but he wasn't that good this year.
No.
For most of the season. And then, are you really that afraid of like the rest of their lineup? I mean, Stanton, he can run into one. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's also a 220 hitter. The other 88% of the time he's out.
Right. That's right. And he strikes out a lot.
Exactly.
It's not productive outs.
Who are your teams to like look at? Who do you not want to face? Like out of both, AL, NL, who are you looking at?
Well, we're certainly familiar with the Guardians and the Tigers.
And we've owned the Guardians.
And we've owned them kind of both. I guess we're kind of 50-50 against the Tigers maybe, but I'm rooting hard for the Tigers to take out the Astros and then the Yankees.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like we can compete well with Baltimore and then Cleveland. And then if we had to face Detroit, I don't hate that matchup either.
I like our top 3 starters against anybody, really.
That's the thing is like it's all going to come down to the Royals if they can just get 3 runs a game, right?
Yeah.
Can we just scratch out 3 or 4 runs? And
even if it's ugly like today, do that 3 times. Like get a single that's not 2 outs, so we can do all
one
that
guy
stuff.
getting hot. I mean, you get Bobby Witt hot.
Well, that's the thing is like Witt has
Vinny
not
comes back. And
I know
Witt has been cold for the last 3 or 4 weeks,
which is why there's been 2 7-game losing streaks.
It is, and like he didn't have good swings today outside of the single. I watched and I'm like, he had some pop ups and he's not in his zone.
No.
If he can get hot and he can quickly, all it takes is one game for him. If he gets in the zone, if Salvi gets in the zone. Those 2 guys could do it. I'm shocked to say this, but I actually like having Yuli Gurriel in the lineup today.
I do. I'm telling you, he's been there before. He's that Astros clout of just like, no, I expect to go to the World Series.
He's not intimidated by any situation.
To be said about guys in your lineup that have been there before that know what to expect.
That's right.
Can control their feelings and
hitters.
That's right.
And I've always loved Fam.
That kind of thing.
So
I've always loved Fam. Always loved Fam.
Gotta love Fam.
He's so good. And if you could get like a can of corn get anything out of Melendez and Isbell and
honestly, I don't care as long as those guys play some good defense.
Yeah.
I don't care what they do offensively. We got a few guys that can carry us if they get hot. Our pitching stays solid. We got a good chance.
So here's a question for you. Let's assume the best. Let's assume that Cy Lugo is in Cy form tomorrow, and we do get out of this series in 2. Who do you come back with? Because this is going to be before the next podcast we have. So who would you come back with? When does that series start? The division series.
I'm not afraid of Brady Singer, man. I think he's going to do just fine. Again, we always mock him because he only goes 6. Right? I don't care. That's all I need you to go in the playoffs.
Pretty good 6.
Yeah. Just give me a solid
5.
6 with 2 to 3 runs allowed, and let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't hate Waka or Singer.
Well, they have Waka penciled as the 3rd. If we go to the 3rd game, they have Waka as the
Singer.
They have Waka ahead of Singer, and I imagine it's probably because of experience. And they've got Singer right now. Singer and Lorenzen are long relief or bullpen guys. Which, hey, if you got Singer and Lorenzen coming out of your bullpen, that feels pretty good, right?
Yeah, if needed, you got them. And we didn't use Schreiber today. I kind of liked our long Bubic and Ursig. And again, we talked about this on prior pods about what we liked coming out of the bullpen. Those are good.
That's right. And the first game would be if we make the division series, the first game Saturday. So is conceivable you could come back with Reagans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you know, so if you win this game,
I think that's
either of the next two, you probably go back. You're probably restarting with Reagans, right?
How many pitches did he throw today? Just out of curiosity.
That's a good question. He left with a calf strain, or calf cramp, I think is what it said.
He only threw 80 pitches.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely good then.
So he ought to be able to go again.
I think they would have put him out there another inning if he hadn't had the calf issue.
Yeah, for sure.
So you could definitely put him in there. And so how does it work here? If we win, we get the Guardians?
I think it depends on if Detroit wins.
That's right.
Exactly it. The worst seed goes to the top seed.
To play the Yanks.
And the top seed, yeah.
So if the Tigers pull it off, we play the Guardians.
I'm fine with that. Let's go pummel those punks.
Which would be great.
We know them.
The statistics would say we would play the Yankees, but either one, like you guys said, I'm not as scared of the AL teams as I am the NL teams in this playoff bracket.
Yep. I mean, if we get through the Yankees, and
Philly's a long, good lineup with good pitching.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Phillies or Dodgers. There's just a lot of.
Yeah, I don't want either of those teams. I'll be honest. like I'm gonna be.
Like, do you really want to see Cy Lugo throwing against that Philly or the triple MVP lineup of the Dodgers?
No,
not so much, man.
No, although it would be pretty cool to see a series with the Royals v. Ohtani and Kaufman. That would be pretty.
It'd be badass.
Pretty awesome to go to. We may have to live broadcast from that if that happens.
I switched over. I switched over to FanDuel this week, and I got my bonus bets or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't put the whole thing by any means, but I put $10 on Bobby Witt Jr. to win the MVP.
Oh, okay. All right.
World Series MVP at 5,000 to 1. So,
that's what it is?
Or plus 5,000.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah.
So 50, that's not a bad bet.
Right.
I mean,
I liked it.
For $10.
I mean, for 500 payout.
$500.
Yeah.
I like that bet because, like we said, in the playoffs, baseball is probably more than any other sport. The seeds don't really matter.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
it's even day, right?
You could argue Cole Reagan's probably the MVP today, but Bobby Witt did knock in the only run.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And I was still eligible.
I only made 2 bets on the games today, so I did a money line twice. So for the Detroit and for the Royals, I just liked the way they were going in. So I only did those 2, but it obviously worked out pretty well. And what's funny is I had no real take on the other 2 games. I was like, I'm not feeling either way on these.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good about Detroit coming in. And then the Royals, I liked Reagans. That matchup, him versus Burns, I was like, it should be a low-scoring game. And it was. I probably should take the under on that one too. But regardless, that probably would have made it a blowout, and I would have lost a bet. So I'm glad I didn't do that. But
I made the 2 horrible bets today. I picked Houston because I was like, oh, yeah, Houston in the playoffs. Yeah, it's money. And lost that one, and I took the under.
Tarek Skubal. I mean, I did a Skubal bet.
I know. That's a good bet.
The winner for baseball is going to win his game. They might lose the other 2, but he will win his game.
It's a good bet, and I think, I was I thought, given the fact that Houston was – I mean, Framber Valdez – he's solid, so I was like, I thought he would, and he did have a bad outing.
He's playoff good too.
He's playoff good, but it wasn't a great outing by him, So you're right. Skubal was the better bet there.
He gave up 3 runs in a second. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
And then he went and did a couple more zeros. So
yeah, I mean, I still like the experience of the Astros. I definitely want Detroit to win that series.
Yeah, I do too.
Because Houston's that specter of a team that like always makes it
I
somehow.
don't want Altuve and Bregman.
No,
I don't Tucker. I don't want you guys. I don't want to face you.
No, and we do have a heart. Like I was looking at the last times the Royals have come to Texas against the Rangers and the Astros, and they just suck. Like when we come into Texas, it is bad. We do not.
I don't want to go
play
to
well.
Texas.
We do not want. I mean, as a fan, I was kind of like, oh, if they play the Astros, I might drive down to Houston and see if we can get a game in, and I still might do that if that's the case. But it's
go to a blue state for the Royals, baby.
Yeah,
let's go.
That's
I
right.
know when you went to the Arlington series, you went to all 3 games and they scored a total of 4 runs or something.
It was less. I think we got 2 runs in 4 games. It was like or 3 games, and it was like the most miserable 3 games of my life sitting there.
It is. All right, let's pivot over to some Chiefs. Unless there's any more Royals comments you guys want to make, but otherwise,
let's talk Chefs.
So our 4-0 beloved Chiefs is awesome because the only other 4-0 team.
I was about to say Dexter hasn't lost an NFL game in his fandom this year.
Ooh,
he's 8-0.
Say his name. Who else is really good? Just say his name. Say it. Say
I have a hard time.
How good is he? He's a QB1 all day. Just say it. He's one of the best.
Sam Darnold is playing.
There it is. Sam freaking Darnold. And our 4-0 Vikings go into Lambeau. Just basically take the brakes off him in the first half. And then just like, let's start calling crappy plays and let him into the game. But regardless, it was never really in doubt. No,
it wasn't. It was never in doubt.
So now they beat a lot of good teams.
I'm shocked.
A lot of good teams. So the entire season they beat teams. They were the underdog every single game.
Yes, I'm shocked. I have to give him props. I'm still going to go on record in saying this team is going to be 5-5. they will. Mark
this today. It was 4-4.
Mark 5-5. Vikings are going to be 5-5 after 10 games. Mark clip. I still think there's some smoke and mirrors. I'm still waiting for the real Sam Darnold to stand up. And
this is the new Sam Darnold, just like the new Joe Flacco who came off the couch last year and now he's really good.
I will tell you. So I'll tell you, there's a huge difference between a quarterback with an offensive line and a quarterback without an.
Amen,
line.
Brother. Amen,
and
brother.
With Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, soon to be T.J. Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones doesn't suck, man. He's pretty good.
No. I'm waiting for the hammy. I keep waiting for the hammy on Aaron Jones.
It's inevitable, but that's why we got Chandler, and he's going to be just fine, too.
So what is the T.J. Hawkinson outlook, by the way? Is he back anytime soon?
He can be back this week,
you think I don't probably not.
I mean, let's see what he looks like. Tomorrow was the first day of he could practice. So,
okay.
But the thing is, he got kind of wrecked, man. He had a lot of crap, and it was all in like week 12, I think, last year.
That's pretty bad.
Late. So I don't think anyone's really expecting anything for like another month and a half.
Yeah, that's probably right.
He's a Thanksgiving guy.
Yeah,
I'll take Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if you can get a guy like him at Thanksgiving, that's a big addition to the offense.
Of what he was
for sure.
I mean, that would
be just having him as a threat in the lineup is really big. But yeah, they've been impressive. So Dex is 8-0. The Chiefs have been less than impressive. But our 4-0, and I have to say, this is a very unique thing to like. It's fun to watch Twitter with the Chiefs this year because talk about spoiled little bitches. Yeah. We are officially spoiled little bitches in our fandom. Like now, it's not good enough to win. We're like, well, yeah, we won. But
we don't even have our top 2 wideouts or our top.
We didn't look very good. Patrick Mahomes doesn't look good. He looks pedestrian.
Oh my God, he looks like a really good Brody Croyle right now.
Oh man, it's really it's really horrible, and it's funny to watch because I have a bunch of friends here, of course, being in Dallas that are Cowboys fans, and anytime I say anything remotely negative about the Chiefs, they're like, "Shut up!" Like, really? Are you really going to bitch about your 4-0 team? I'm so sorry that they didn't boat race the Chargers.
Yeah.
What's the best
Your
part
4-0
about
team that's won back-to-back Super Bowls.
That's it. And Padog, I know you're part of this too, and I know Chisholm and Lou and I were. Once they go down, God, I love getting plus money on the Chiefs.
Oh my God.
I mean, they just make our books look good. I can lose all the rest of my bets. I just keep live lining Chiefs when they get down. Money.
I was
one of these times we'll get screwed and lose like our $100, but in the meantime, we're just banking on that.
I made the so you guys, if you listen to the podcast, you'll learn this about me. I have a horrible addiction to college football, and I do nothing but lose. If I make a pick in college football, please bet opposite me.
Please start posting those, Chisholm. We need to start winning.
I'm telling you, I lose, and I have done nothing but lose in college football. And I was getting down to the place where, like, every other league I bet in, I'm pretty good. I'm either about 500 or a little up, and I have just decimated my bankroll on college football. I keep chasing. So I made the infamous sweeper bet this week on the Chiefs, where I was like, all right, I'm putting everything I got left in, and I'm going to have to rebuy if I lose this thing. So I dropped 75 on the Chiefs live line and turned that into 150 just like that, because it's so automatic whenever I see it. And now Vegas knows, because when they go down, it used to be automatic. You get plus odds. Now they're like, no.
They keep costing us. All these people keep screwing us.
We're gonna give you minus 130. You're down 70. You're down 7-0. We're gonna give you in the third quarter. We're gonna give you minus 130. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Better than what it was.
Better than
minus 200.
Better than where we started.
And I know. And Lewis is the same way. So Lewis, for those listeners, he doesn't have power. He's in North Carolina where they're flooded out and towns are walking down.
Prayers up to North Carolina, man.
Absolutely.
That's
just
rough.
in a terrible spot. But he went to his local watering hole and was watching with a bunch of just probably Carolina fans. And when the Chiefs went down, a text made it through to our group chat. Like, put money on the Chiefs now.
Live line now.
I'll pay you back.
The best part was, I don't care how many people put the money on the Chiefs live line. I will pay it all. No matter what you put, I will pay it all.
It was probably the only text that made it through in 2 hours. Totally. Someone did. I was getting ready to do it, and then someone else already did.
I put some in for him. I made a bet for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing. And I will say this is the difference in, like, if you remember when Mahomes first took over his first season, we were putting up 80 points a game or some ungodly amount, and we couldn't stop anyone. Yeah. And it was like we had to put up 80 points to win. Like, it was like
we lost that game like 53-51.
Oh yeah, against the Rams that game.
100 points.
It was insane, and we lost that game. The defense is ridiculous. Like, I know.
So good.
I know the Chargers are hobbled and whatnot. I know Herbert is not 100%, but let's be honest. Like, J.K. Dobbins has been destroying the NFL.
Running right through, man.
And he had, I believe, 40 yards against the Chiefs. Herbert threw for like 160.
A hobbled Herbert.
Hobbled Herbert.
I mean, that dude he wasn't even supposed to play. I don't even know why he did.
He shouldn't have played.
Arrested him because it's a bye week and he would have had 3 weeks off, basically.
He shouldn't have played. But I mean, to look at that, like, even when we went down, I mean, it was self-inflicted wounds, right? We had 2 turnovers right out of the gate, a fumble, gave him a touchdown.
Bad
and
interception.
one pick.
Bad interception.
Lost our wideout because Patty. But for that pick, we'd have our best winner.
That
like
was
butterfly
brutal.
Effect of everything, the worst possible thing that could happen.
So I have a
through
friend.
A stupid pick.
I want to see you guys' thoughts on this. So I have a friend who's a big football fan and big gambler, and he tells me this. He's told me this as long as I've known him, that if he had a quarterback, he was a coach, and he had a quarterback that was like Patrick Mahomes or top 10 quarterback. He said, I would tell them as soon as they throw a pick to run off the field. And his point is that the only thing that can happen is bad. He's either going to hurt himself or, in this case, hurt others. And I...
Because you know what they never practice?
Tackling. I mean, did you see his tackle? It was like, he just went like this and like He put his head down like this.
Like the worst thing would have been if Rashee Rice would have kneed him in the head and
Oh.
concussed him.
He
Taking them both
exposed his neck to just like get pummeled, and thank goodness he just sort of softballed in. And for those of you who don't know, we have a little update from one of our friends who has some inside knowledge that Rashee Rice may not be as bad as we think. He may have a chance to come back this year, so that's good. But regardless, like, what do you think about that? Do you think my friend's right? Should the quarterback just leave when he throws the pick?
I mean, you paid the guy $500 million. Right?
Yeah,
So
right. It's worth it. Like
let's protect the investment.
Even if you get the pick 6, are you really worried?
Right.
No. Like,
and
if
is
he's
this the Super
only
Bowl?
one, and it's Super Bowl. If it's playoffs, better throw your melon
Different.
in there and see what's up. But
Week 4 against the Chargers,
the depleted Chargers, exit stage left, buddy.
I mean, I kind of agree with them because it's like, these guys don't know what they're doing. But I think the thing is they're just so dang competitive, and especially Mahomes. He wants to win so bad.
Yeah.
I'm mad
It is.
at myself.
Pick, you want to make the play to at least do something productive.
You're right,
I mean,
Prue.
Rashee Rice, to his credit, knocked the ball loose. They had a chance of recovering that.
That's right.
Right? He hurt himself in the process, which sucks, but he hustled.
He didn't hurt himself in the process. Patty took him out.
Oh,
God, that's the worst possible
friendly
thing.
fire. So
friendly fire is the worst. But.
So now we're down. I mean, this is crazy. We're 4. I was doing this
Feels
in
a
my
lot
head.
like last year.
It feels exactly like last year.
Except for 4-0.
Except we're 4-0. We're 4-0. We don't have our starting running back. We don't have our top 2 wide receivers.
God, I would have loved to see Hollywood Brown at least play a little bit.
Like, I mean, all of a sudden, our number 1 is our rookie.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy is probably the one right now.
And Kelsey, if we're being
honest. Kelsey's always the one.
I know, but he hasn't been all season. Let's get straight. He hasn't. He hasn't been even looked at, really.
Well, and we've talked a lot about it. Like, has it been on purpose? Has it been like they're resting him a little bit?
In the shop, right?
Right. And like we're kind of seeing there maybe is some truth to that, because like all of a sudden, like when you need him, he's magically there. He's like all of a sudden he's open again.
And like he hasn't forgotten how to catch.
Yeah. No.
Pulling in everything that goes his way.
I mean, all of a sudden he was the game.
He certainly wasn't intentionally trying to not be part of the game plan. Though.
Right.
If you listen to the New Heights podcast, he's like, I want to be in the game. It's no fun just to go run practice routes and all that sort of stuff. For sure. So that's
for sure.
I like that he's got the fire. He's definitely not. He's going to get plenty, and I think he's going to be.
I mean, don't you think some of it
fed now?
Don't you think some of it was like, hey, we're the Chiefs. We should make the playoffs. We have enough talent. You've got Coach Reed. You've got Patrick Mahomes. Like, it seems like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and probably would have been further than that, would have been like, hey, we're trying to work everybody in. Yeah. We're trying to. I'm going to force the ball to Worthy.
This is extended preseason to get our rookie in the game.
Yep.
To establish Rashee Rice as our clear number 1.
Yep.
Yeah, he was having a Cooper Cup MVP season too.
Oh my gosh.
It really.
Oh my gosh.
That he got hurt.
I mean, he was doing 9-10 catches a game type stuff, which is like
average.
And basically uncoverable on the slant route. It was like when he was running a slant route, it was like Mahomes is going to put it right in your hands and he's going to catch it.
That's
so
exactly
it's
like,
right. That's the kind of option that Mahomes hasn't had for a long time. So it does really hurt. I will say it felt really good to see Mahomes throw the deep ball again.
Oh yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And it was a 50 yards on the fly.
And it was perfect.
I know. And unlike Valdez-Scantling, touchdown.
Yeah, right. It was like
what it's supposed to look like.
Well,
it's back to Tyreek days, man. It's back to Tyreek.
If I was that fast, I probably could have caught that ball too, because it was perfectly thrown.
I mean, it was, and just when I start to worry, like, can he not throw deep anymore? I start having those kind of thoughts. I'm like, maybe they're not throwing deep because he can't throw deep anymore. No, it's because they didn't have anybody who could get deep.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
and
they didn't
would catch it,
and it would catch the ball.
Did you see the route that Worthy ran on?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a very small, like
just a hesitation route.
Yeah,
That's it.
just a very small hesitation, but
I mean, he just
enough.
did a little pause and then boom, like,
and just
And when he
left
can run
the
4-2,
safety
that's what it looks like.
right, and just left the safety in the dust. Like
If
the guy
nothing
that's supposed to be covering
else-
over the top. just
if
got
nothing else, having that
housed.
on film for everybody else to have to worry about is like
That's
a
exactly
big deal. Because if
it.
you look at last year, every defense was up on us. Every
Yeah.
defense. They
Yeah.
knew
But
there
they
was no
could.
underneath. Yes.
You weren't throwing to that because they knew it was deep,
Right.
boys. If you're running
Right.
deep, all right, you go, Patty.
Go
Throw
for it.
That's an incomplete. I can
Right.
go ahead and do incomplete.
Yes. Totally.
I mean, it's
Totally.
not happening.
So, but I will say I'm shocked that of all of the wide receivers that we had, the most likely to get hurt, I thought was Xavier Worthy because of his size. He's such a little dude,
Yeah.
but he has dodged it. And then Rashee Rice, who is somebody who hasn't been injured,
Yeah.
very thick. Fluke,
Well,
I know
he
it's
didn't
Fluke.
Exactly. He didn't get injured doing normal football
It's
stuff.
Fluke. Hollywood Brown, I will say this though, both those
He's a little
guys.
injury prone.
He's a little more injury prone. Both those guys, we do have hope. And when you're a Chiefs fan, we do have the privilege of thinking about the playoffs. And we are
being able to wait out a 3-month
right.
injury.
So it's like, hey, if we could get one of those guys back
Yeah.
for the playoffs, just one,
Yep.
like that changes the equation drastically. Do I think we're going to run the table now? No, I don't think we're going to run the table now.
Kind of
But
peeps.
But like if you look at I was looking at the schedule, okay? Like everyone was most scared of
We were even
the
saying
first two games.
If we could be 2-2 through 4, we'd be happy.
Oh, totally.
And
We were
here
like,
we are 4-0. So still happy.
So-
we were counting on losing.
One of the first
So-
two is a loss.
Two.
so if you look, this week we got the Saints at home on Monday Night Football, right? The Saints are a good team. They're not a
are.
bad team. They could
Nope.
beat us, but
And Derek
Monday Night
Carr
Football,
knows the Chiefs.
he knows the Chiefs. It's not good what he knows. He's not good against the Chiefs, but he does know the Chiefs. He's not going to be intimidated by Arrowhead. He's been there. But Monday night at Arrowhead, I still like our chances, right?
Yeah.
Against the Saints. Then we go to the 49ers, who look very beatable right now.
They do. No CMC, even though Jordan Mason's doing just fine. Debo's back this week. Ayuk is in camp or made it through camp and got whatever.
Ayuk has been trash though.
I know.
He's been
Speaking of
nothing.
Potatoes. He is
Holy
on Spud Alert. He's a
cow.
shrewdness Spud Alert.
He is
He's
like
been terrible.
I am shocked by how bad the guy's played. Then you're at the Raiders, Then you got the Buccaneers. They're surprisingly
Depends on
good.
which Baker shows up.
Good or bad Baker, and it's a Monday night game at Arrowhead again. So
Ooh,
Okay.
that'll be fun.
then you got the Broncos. Not scared of that. Then you're at the Bills. That's scary.
Yep.
Always
Always a tough game.
I'm going to call that a loss. I'm going to pencil that in as a loss. At the Panthers, home for the Raiders, home for the Chargers, at the Browns,
God dang, maybe we
home
are
for
going
the
16
home for
and
the
1.
home for the Texans.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game.
And
That'd be
then
tough, too.
then you finish at the Steelers, at the Broncos.
They could legit only lose 3 games.
Yeah.
If
That's not unrealistic.
if I'm being realistic, even down 3 of our best players on offense,
Even with our backups.
like
As long
it's
as we
tough
just
to
keep
not it's
everyone
tough for
else
me to not
vertical.
sit there and go 13-3.
14.
You
Even
know?
with Sky Moore trotting out there for 30 snaps a game.
Yeah.
Right?
We got a
As a
chance of
decoy. He
going.
could be our new Valdez
14 and
Scantling.
3.
Just
I
run
mean, let's
deep
say
and
we
bring
lose
people
the
back with
let's
you.
say we lose at the 49ers, we lose at the Bills, and then we
At
drop
Pitt.
a game at the Steelers.
Yeah.
Like, can you conceivably see us I mean, we could conceivably lose to the Texans.
Yeah.
San
San Francisco. I think
I already
you said
counted that
right?
one.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't even know them.
I mean, are we going to lose the Panthers, the Broncos,
The Raiders.
the Raiders?
I just don't think the Broncos could score enough points.
No.
Right.
I
They
think
can't.
as long as we get to 12, we win that game.
Bo Nix
If we
threw
do
for
4 field
60
goals.
yards.
Yeah.
6-0.
And our defense is
-7
better.
at halftime.
He had -7.5.
And the Jets D's good. Jets D's good, but so is ours. And
Yeah.
McDuffie's gonna blanket Garrett Wilson. And
For sure. Like there is
I
no
mean, Brees Hall could always break one. Got it.
there's no I don't see
Or not Brees Hall.
I don't see a game on here. I mean, if I'm conceivably looking at losses, let's just give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We lose the 49ers. We lose to the Buccaneers at home at Arrowhead. I can't. Okay, let's say that happens. We lose the Bills. We lose to the Texans. We lose the Steelers. Maybe 5.
Yeah,
Maybe
12-5
5.
ain't bad.
12-5 wins the division.
And
So,
maybe
so
we'll
like,
get you a bye.
I think we have to be in the mode of, like, I don't think you're going to see all-out Chiefs for the season. I think it's going to be preserved Chiefs.
Yeah. But I think Justin Watson still has an opportunity to play well and fill those roles.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we're on the same boat. Sky Moore is not it. He just doesn't seem to have it. Mecole Hardman, again, nope. Not seeing that. It's going to be Justin Watson.
Juju's, I think, going to work again.
Yep. So Justin Watson, Juju, and Xavier Worthy are going to be our 3, I would imagine.
I mean, CEH is healthy. He can contribute.
We have to see what happens with him.
Yeah.
And I do think I think Lou is right. You're going to see some Noah Gray. You're going to see more Noah Gray. You may even see some Wiley in there.
I was going to say, Wiley's got to start.
I wouldn't be shocked if we do a lot of 3 tight end sets.
Yeah.
Put all 3 of those guys out there at once. Great blocking for the run game, and then they're all decent receivers.
Especially if you do a CEH or a P. Ryan in the backfield, everybody's going out to catch something somewhere.
Yeah.
Cover everybody, man. And you're going to try and tell me Pat Mahomes can't find the open guy?
Yeah, he's going to find the open guy.
Okay.
I think
like he can
Steele
probably do it
is
behind his
about.
back.
I think Steele is about one fumble away from not contributing at all. The rest of the season,
he better be carrying a football around this week.
Yeah. With some duct tape, man.
I really like how he runs, but man,
I do too. I root for the guy. I root for the guy. It's just you in the NFL, you just can't. You just cannot fumble the ball. And so I do think it's going to be interesting to see, because we have seen, this is sacrilege to say, but we've probably seen the worst 4-game stretch of Patrick Mahomes' career as a starter.
That's a fact. I mean, all the haters can hate, but
it's 4 wins.
Yeah, that's his worst 4 games.
Well, so we saw it some last year too. He doesn't have to play his best to win when you got a defense like this.
That's right.
And he also, when he needs to make a play, when he needs to make a drive.
I do not
want.
Awesome.
You really want though.
It's so awesome.
I don't want any other quarterback on my team during the playoffs,
like it's
during a final 2-minute drive.
What's true NFL fandom privilege is being down a score in the 4th and not being stressed.
Yeah,
and my heart rate is perfectly normal.
It's weird. I know my heart rate doesn't even go up.
It doesn't happen.
I'll get up to 88. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Instead of like 72, like I'm just a little excited about what might happen.
Right.
But it's more excited about what might happen.
And how it's going to happen.
Fear of losing.
Like, how's he going to pull this one off? Because this is going to be and the thing of it is too is that if you've noticed, like, this is smart. Pat's not running a lot. You don't see Pat running because Pat doesn't need to run. When does Pat run? The Super Bowl.
Playoffs.
When does Pat run? The AFC Championship game. Whenever he's got to make a play.
Yep.
And he will make a play, or in the 4th quarter on a drive when we're losing, he'll make a play.
He'll run 40 yards that drive.
On 4th and 3, when nobody in the stadium expects him to keep it.
Totally.
He does.
And that's the beauty of a quarterback who knows the game as well as he does. He knows it's about preserving himself at this point, making sure he can play. Because I have no doubt this guy has Tom Brady posters on the wall with targets on them. Like, he is that competitive and that petty. And if you look at what that means I got to play a long time. Yeah. And it means I got to preserve myself. I looked at the stats the other day. I did the comparison of Brady and Mahomes at the same point in their career, right?
Yep.
And Mahomes kills him.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
Now, the only thing they have the same is they both have 3 titles at this time in their career. Mahomes has more MVPs. Mahomes has a ton more passing yardage, ton more touchdowns, fewer interceptions. He's got
yards.
He has more. By the way, he has more. He has 1,800 more rush yards now than Brady did his whole career.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brady.
So if he doesn't,
we're battling for like 8.
Right. So if he doesn't run again in his whole career, he'd have 1,800 more rush yards than Brady. So I think he's playing the long game for sure. And I think he's going to win. I think he'll do whatever it takes to win. And when you get him and Reed, like they caught Reed going into halftime. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like it was not a good first half. It was really bad. He was upset about Rice, and they asked him about Rice, and he was like, whatever. But he said, you know what? We're going to make some adjustments at halftime. We'll figure it out. And I was like, yep.
And they will.
He will.
That's what he does.
He will figure it out. Like I felt ultimately confident that like he's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And he did.
Weird. They came out and figured it out.
And I mean, they'll do just enough to win.
Scored 17 unanswered, and there it is, 17-10.
Right. And you got Butker. By the way, we didn't mention the Butker 65-yard attempt. That was close, dudes. It was close.
It was pretty close.
It was.
It was within about 3 yards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Having that weapon is now the missed extra point. I swear, someone do the stats on this. Yeah. I swear he's missed more extra points than field goals in his career.
It's
ridiculous.
He's like the pitcher throwing to first on a bunt. He just can't do the easy one, man. Give me 62. Give me 59 in the snow. Give me 55 in a crosswind of 50 miles an hour. I'll put it through in some English.
Right.
But you give him an extra point, like
should we use Reed for the extra points and then Butker for for everything else?
I don't like our chances either way on those.
Yeah, I'd rather just roll with my 90% extra point kicker. But
it's
you know what?
Wild though.
He's better than freaking Tucker this year.
He is.
Yeah,
Tucker, he is.
Old leg is.
He's got old leg.
If the fork is in all the way,
and it's close.
Boy, they certainly aren't feeling good about lining up for 45 plus.
What did Brandon Aubrey hit this year or this week for the Cowboys? How long was that one?
63, right?
62 or 3, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude has a sick leg.
It had plenty.
He has a sick leg.
It went through the middle.
Oh yeah, Koo.
Atlanta won the game on a 58-yarder.
And it was like nothing. Like he had on the end. There was plenty on the end.
And all
he looks like a toe poker when he lines up.
He does. He lines up straight behind the ball, and I'm like, what is he doing? He's gonna pull it. I keep thinking he's gonna pull it.
I know everything.
I keep thinking of the guy who the first one was it Dempsey.
Yes.
Square block foot and just booted it.
Toe poke it.
He looks like a block foot.
He does.
Toe poker. Well, that didn't have many toes, but still, you know what I mean.
He does.
I see him line up, I'm like, oh, that looks so unconventional compared to every other kicker. But
I think something's wrong when he's lining up. And then, somebody else? There was another kicker that had 255 plus yards. Like kicking in the NFL is crazy now.
It is. They're all ridiculously good at it.
Like 60 yards.
The thing is, if you don't have one of those kickers, which some of these teams don't, you are at a disadvantage.
Oh yeah.
These other teams just need to get to the 40.
Yeah.
And they're getting 3 points. Whereas you need to get to the 25 and say a prayer to Abu.
Right.
And like hope for the best and put
That's exactly right.
Football and make
sure. Oh man, I remember even back when we had like great
Automatic
kickers, Automatic Nick and like Pete Stoyanovich and all those guys, like you still needed to get it into side 50.
51 was about the top end of those guys' range.
Right. And that was like
for Vikings fans, don't rely on a kicker at all. Just score a freaking touchdown. If we rely on a kicker in a key situation, Vikings history will make sure it goes wide right, hook left.
Yeah, that's right. It was Vikings and Chiefs up until 5 years ago. Vikings and Chiefs were like mirror franchises. They had like the same history. They had the same
first 5 Super Bowls.
They had the early Super Bowls, painful exits in the playoffs, kicker exit, Lynn Elliott. Painful kicker, but like, and then the Chiefs got a quarterback, and that's the difference, right? You get a quarterback, and it's like everything is good.
Even
in the
NFL. Kicker feels better.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, I was looking at the longest kick is Tucker, right, with a 66-yarder, and that was indoors in Ford Field in 2021.
That hit the crossbar and went through, didn't it?
Yeah, and it get bounced over. So 66 is like the max. I think Aubrey could hit over 66.
I think so too.
He's one that I think could break it. There's probably a couple other guys that could in the right conditions right now. And that's just such a different game in the NFL where it's like, hey, we get the kickoff, couple first downs, and we got 3 points. That's like a totally different game than what we grew up with.
It is. Just totally night and day. But let's pivot into our picks.
Yep.
All right.
So this last week, what were we, Dex?
All right. So, God, shrewdness fans.
Hang with us.
We went 1-3 2 weeks ago. We went 2-2 this week. We are on our way. We are trending up.
What are we? We're one game under on the season.
Yeah, I went 500 this last week. So I took the Colts and Pitt under 39.5 last week. And until Richardson got hurt, I was well on way to winning that thing. Then Joe Flacco came in and started hucking touchdowns left and right. And even in, like, the early fourth quarter, I was still good. And then I think they put 21 points up in like 8 seconds. I was like, this is terrible.
Yes.
So lost my bet. My bad shrewdness. I thought Richardson would play the whole game.
It wasn't a bad bet.
I was going to be set. Lewis took Denver. And not only did they cover the huge spread, they won at Jets.
With 60 yards passing.
Denver. So Chisholm got our second win of the week. Taking Jacksonville, going to the stinky, smelly, poopy
run to the smell.
And they didn't win, but they certainly covered against Houston. So another
Which,
win
by
there.
the way, if you Shrewdness Sisters were following along, there was a heart-stopping moment that I don't know if you guys saw. I was watching into that game where there was a safety that would have flipped that game and we would have lost. And then they overturned the safety and we barely, by the skin of our teeth, got that one.
I missed that.
Yeah, I was sweating.
They called forward progress at the 1 or something instead of.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and then Padog, he went for another humongous spread for New England. Plus 10. It did not work out. Too many turnovers.
Yeah,
too many turnovers.
Not anticipating them giving up 40 points to the.
Oh, me either. Holy cow.
To the Niners.
Yeah, so we didn't even get our tease for you, Shrewdness fans. We apologize.
This week we'll do better.
That being said, we're keeping track. We're keeping our record.
Yep.
And Padog, do you have the totals? What are we
We're
for the whole
7,
season?
8-1.
7, 8-1. So you're not
hang with us.
crushed.
You're treading water.
Crushed.
You're treading water.
And
just
again,
wait for the run.
Once we get this 4-0 and you round robin, tease, hit all of them,
That's
you're
right.
going to be up for the rest
You're
of the season.
going to be set.
And we have a couple of those every season, so just keep sticking with us.
We do.
All right, so I'll go last this week. And I want to know, so Lewis his pick in because the power's out.
Power's out in North Carolina, so he's
North Carolina power outage.
So he's taking, who did he pick?
Lewis is taking the New York Jets.
The New York Jets
over
the undefeated Minnesota Vikings.
Is it -3?
It's plus the the Jets are getting 2.5.
So NYJ plus 2.5 for the Jets. Jets. I mean, I think that's a fool's play.
That's a bold pick.
It's a bold pick, but it is one of those picks that is very in line with the NFL these days.
And Aaron Rodgers knows how to beat the stupid Vikings sometimes.
He does. So
I hate that. The thing is, it's not actually a Minnesota home game. It's a London rando game.
Oh, that's right.
If it was actually at Minnesota, I would veto this pick, but it's a weird across the ocean, Atlantic, 7 a.m. game for most of us here in the States.
That's a really good point. So it's really neutral site.
It is. It's a neutral site. I think it's Wembley or wherever the hell it is.
Yeah,
so whatever.
It's Wembley. Okay. Padog, what do you got for us? Are you ready, or do you need me to go?
I've got a couple that I'm thinking about. If you got
then
one
let me
ready,
go.
Go ahead.
All right.
You guys know. Listen, I think my record's. What's my record, dog?
I think you're 2-2.
Am I? I thought it was better than that. Feels better. Feels like I've won.
Oh, you got to push. One push.
Yeah, you're 2-1.
I'm 2-1-1. Up on the year. Right. Here we go, baby. All right, so mock me.
3-0-1.
Oh, 3-0-1. Holy crap.
You lost one. Maybe not.
Bite your tongue. All right, so here's the pick. I know you're going to make fun of me because
smelly.
I am in love with this Seattle Seahawks, but Seattle Seahawks are hosting the Giants in
Yep.
Seattle. The Giants have to make the trek all the way across the country. That's never
3,500
bodes
miles.
well. Never bodes well for those teams to do that. It's -6 at home. I don't think the Giants can score 6. So I am going with Seattle. And Seattle's offense is putting up points. So we're going to go Seattle -6 at Seattle.
And they
Lock
played
it
well against a good Detroit team.
They
too,
did.
so,
They played well against Detroit. I'm pleasantly surprised with them, and I feel like Vegas is still undervaluing them. So we'll go with the Seattle -6. Lock it up.
Sounds good. Padog.
You're wanting to go last?
Oh, I'll go
So
next. You want me to go next?
Yeah, I don't care. I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go. I got one in mind here.
Okay.
I'm fully bought in on Jaden Daniels. I think that
I like me some Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
If he was a bust or a fluke or whatever, we would have seen some evidence of that by now after 4
I agree.
games.
I like
You
him.
think the 82% completion passage is
Yep.
not
He is making smart decision after smart decision.
Yeah.
And you can't just out athletic that part.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
He is making not rookie decisions. That is the
Right.
truth.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're scoring a ton of points. Cleveland's got a good defense, but I don't think Cleveland can keep up.
You don't think Deshaun can put up big numbers?
They haven't yet. I like my chances. So
I like it.
I'll take Washington -3 at home.
I like it. I like that
All
pick.
right.
I had that one circled. By the way, let me remind Shrewdness listeners
Yeah.
that I picked the Washington Commander football team Redskins to win the NFC East. And I'm feeling pretty good about that pick right now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he should. All right, so I am going to go with the Carolina Panthers.
Yes!
And
That's the other game I had circled.
yeah, so what's funny is that Seattle is the other one I had circled.
Nice.
So I had those two. So Carolina, they're getting 3.5 points at Chicago. And again, Carolina is a very competent team now.
The Red Rifle has changed that team
It
around.
is. Deontay Johnson, Chuba Hubbard, and Xavier Legette, Trimble, who we kind of like. If you listen,
I
to our
like
Guillotine-
Trimble.
If you listen to our Guillotine podcast, you'll have like, oh, who's that guy?
Yeah.
And he's just not a bad tight end that can
Right.
get involved more. And I just believe in the mistakes that Caleb Williams will make inevitably in this game. Like he can squeak
because
by
he
a terrible-
consistently does it.
Yeah, Will Levis let him get a dub week
Ugh.
1. And the Rams just didn't come up with enough last week. But he's not beating good teams. And I'm not saying Carolina is a good team. But I'm saying they're better than freaking Chicago. And
Yeah.
getting a field goal and a half, all they got to do is stay within a field goal, baby.
That's right.
And I think the Red Rocket can stay there. I think they keep it close. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think either of the offenses are prolific by any means, nor the defenses. So I
Yep.
think it's going to be a closer game. I'm taking Carolina +3.5.
I mean, think about it.
Chicago's defense has done all right,
They have.
but Andy Dalton is an experienced NFL
That's it.
quarterback. So if
That's
he
it.
can
All
avoid
the-
making the big mistake,
The other
Like
thing
it.
is, to Dex's point on Caleb Williams, who, if you listen to the podcast, you know we don't like Caleb Williams. But, I mean, nothing against him personally, but it's just he's not a good quarterback, I don't think. This was against the Rams. The
Or a
Rams
good
defense,
person, let's be honest.
or a good person for that matter. But the Rams are not a good defense. They are a bad defense, one would even venture to say, without Aaron Donald. He threw for 157 against the Rams.
Oof.
That's not good.
That's with all his wideouts playing because Keenan Allen came back.
That's with everybody playing. I mean, that's with
Roshan,
DJ
DeAndre
Moore. That's
Swift,
with Keenan
DJ,
Allen.
Yeah.
Komet. Like he's got a ton
Full
of
arsenal.
weapons. That's a ton of weapons. The Chiefs would love to have those weapons right now on offense. And he threw for 157. I don't see it. I just don't see it with him. I like the pick. I'm actually with you. I think Carolina's a lot better team than we thought because it was all being
Competent
hidden
quarterback
by
play.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I love Bryce Young. I think he's a great kid. I actually think he's a really good person. I really rooted for him and liked him. He's just not an NFL quarterback. That's just how it
That's
happens
it.
sometimes.
And I mean, I know Thielen's out, and that kind of hurts it a little bit, but I think Legette fills in that 2
So do
spot
I.
pretty well.
Yeah.
And Johnny
Yep.
Mingo is not the worst 3.
No, I actually
really-
like Johnny Mingo. He's one that I had as a potential target for the Shrewd and Sleepers this week, but I went elsewhere. But I think he could have a big game.
Yep, same. So that's it. So to rehash what we got. So Pruitt, Washington -3.5. We got Chisholm, Seattle -6. We got
I
Lou,
think Seattle will.
Jets +2.5. And then I'm taking Carolina +3.5. Put it to the bank. Let's go. Let's win some
This
money.
feels
this
like
week.
a 4-0 week to me.
4-0. We're gonna bang it with our round robin teasers.
Absolutely.
Hit them all. Parlay.
Kill it.
And you
Pay
don't
the
even
mortgage
get a bunch.
this week.
We're not saying $5 a bet, man. Just put something on it. 'Cause
Yeah.
when they all hit, baby, it's gonna be pretty good.
That's right. And if you have a problem, 1-800-GET-HELP-FOR-GAMBLING.com.
That's right. That's right.
Or something.
Bears out. All right. And so I think that
It's hard
wraps
to
it up.
dial
but
on a phone,
Make
but-
sure you like, follow, subscribe. We'll have out some YouTube shorts. We'll have some reels out there to check out. But
Absolutely.
yeah, hit us on Spotify, YouTube. If you want to watch it out, that works too. So other than that, close us up, a dog.
Yeah, had a blast with you guys today. It's a fun time to be a Royals and or Chiefs fan. Anyway, enjoy week 5.
Enjoy Wintersville.
That's
Enjoy
right. Hopefully
Wintersville
the
for
Royals
one more
get-
week, baby.
That's right. We need one more win to get us to next week.
That's right.
Thanks to our buddy Scotty Morrison for the Shrewdness podcast music, which we don't thank him enough for, but appreciate his.
When we remember, we
contribution there.
do.
That's right.
But when that's right. This is the Shrewdness podcast signing off. Have a great week. Go Chiefs.
Stay shrewd.
Go Royals.